In this example, we're going to take a look at an R group analysis of two datasets to identify functionalities which are influencing potency. The first dataset contains buspirone and some close analogues based on a common scaffold. Open the file R group demo by using the File Open menu. Select the first row, buspirone, and start the R group decomposition wizard by clicking the R group button on the toolbar. Note it's also available from the Tools menu. The selected molecule is displayed in the wizard, so that you can now choose the regions of the molecule that make up the scaffold. Select the two ring functionalities as shown here by drawing around them with the lasso, holding down the Shift or Control button to select a second region. Click Next to confirm the R groups that will be analysed. In this example, because we selected two separate regions, the connecting functionalities will be considered to be variations in linkers. Please note that you can add R groups by clicking the R button and then clicking at the point on the scaffold where they should be analysed. If you wish to specify variable atoms or fragments, click the X button and then select atoms on the scaffold which may vary between the compounds being analysed. In this case, no additional R groups, variable atoms or fragments are required. Click the Finish button and new columns will be added to the dataset indicating the R groups and linkers that have been found for each compound. Hover over any of the R groups to see a pop-up of the scaffold. To keep a scaffold window open, right-click on the R group column header and choose View Scaffold. This window can be docked in the tabbed area. If you have more than one analysis in your dataset, the displayed scaffold will change to show the scaffold associated with the selected R group column at any given time. You can visualize the SAR in the series using the visualization tools in StarDrop. Change to the Visualization tab and click on the header of the column Analysis 1R3 in the dataset. A histogram will be displayed showing the number of compounds with each group at position R3. Pointing at the picture of an R group on the axis will pop up a larger version. Other data can be plotted on the y-axis and other plot types can be used to see more detailed information. For example, click the Box Plot button on the Visualization tab and select 5-HT1A affinity pKi from the Y drop-down to display a box plot showing the distribution of potency for compounds with each group at position R3. Create an SAR plot by clicking its button on the Visualization tab and choose Analysis 1R3 from the X drop-down menu and Analysis 1L1 from the Y drop-down menu. This will display an SAR table of R3 against L1. You can colour the SAR plot by different properties. For example, to colour the plot by the 5-HT1A affinity pKi values in the dataset, click on the block of colour next to R group demo in the key to bring up the Format by Property dialog. Change the source for the colour to 5-HT1A affinity pKi and click OK. The compounds with the highest pKi's will be highlighted yellow, the lowest red. The size of the circles indicates the number of compounds which contain those groups. You can also change the size of the circles according to another property by clicking on the circle under Size in the key, and there are many other ways to view your data, for example by plotting pie charts, histograms or radar plots, which you can access from the Customize tab. Finally, StarDrop can fill in the missing combinations of R groups and linkers that are not present in the series, helping to explore other potentially interesting compounds. To do this, right-click on one of the R group column headers to choose R group enumeration from the menu. This will estimate the number of new compounds that will be generated. Click Generate and the new compounds will be added to the dataset with their predicted properties automatically calculated. Of course, we may have different series based around multiple scaffolds where the substitution points are equivalent because they share a similar binding pose. In these cases, we would like to identify common patterns for substitutions at equivalent positions or look for the effect of the core replacements on compound properties. In this example, we will show how multi-scaffold R group analysis can be performed in StarDrop. Open the file R group demo multi-scaffold by using the File Open menu. In the resulting dataset, you'll note that there are two similar scaffolds with equivalent substitution points. Examples of each are shown in rows 1 and 2. So select both of these rows by holding down the Control key as you select the second row. Click the R group analysis button on the toolbar to open the R group decomposition wizard. The first compound will be shown in the Select Scaffold tool. Draw around the fused ring system to define this as the first scaffold, which will be highlighted in blue, and click Next. The Specify R Groups tool will automatically show groups R1 and R2 at the substitution points for the selected compounds. We do not need to add any other points of variation, so click Next. The Select Scaffold tool will now be shown again, this time displaying the second compound. Again, draw around the fused ring system to define the second scaffold. Click Next to define the R groups for this scaffold. The Specify R groups tool will be shown again for this scaffold. In this case, it is important to ensure that the groups at equivalent positions in each scaffold have the same label. If it is necessary to change the defaults, you can edit them simply by clicking on the label. Once you've made sure that the R1 and R2 labels are in the correct positions, click Next. On the final page, you can give the analysis a name. Once you've done this, click Finish to run the R group decomposition. 3 new columns will be added to the dataset, showing the scaffold, R1 and R2 groups for each compound. As with R groups, the scaffold can be used in visualizations, including SAR plots, by selecting the corresponding column or choosing the scaffold from the X or Y menu in the Visualization tab. In this example, the pie charts have been coloured by R1 to show which R1 group has been tried with each scaffold and R2. For more worked examples looking at some of StarDrop's other features, take a look at the tutorial section of the Optibrium community.